First, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstones. And a shout out to the Akim that's out there, also pushing this, this true truth and sincerity. So, another brother, which it's kind of funny because, I had said this before, that it's like we are in The Walking Dead. In the essence that, most our people, they are zombies. They're dead to this truth, Ezekiel talked about the valley of dry bones, but can these dry bones live? That only a select few we're going to wake up to this truth to come back to our nationality of who we are and, pretty much divorce these philosophies of Esau, the so-called white man, because, of course, we've been in a dead state. And that's what Walking Dead really represents. But, man, Yahweh Shai is coming back YouTube channel, did a whole breakdown on Neagan. And I said that Esau is Neagan, and I said that quite a while back, that, pretty much he's the New World Order, which we know the New World Order is means that pretty much they put a microchip in you, they brand you, and so they can control you. Through that branding, which is the mark of the beast, the RFID implement, and we know that the greedy 1%, which is Amalek, the Amalekites, are doing the same thing now as they were doing then. So we're going to read out of the book of Malachi today, and I'll start in chapter 1 and get this thing going. The burden of the word of the Lord to Yashala by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet we say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith Yahweh, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So we know that Esau is not the true Christians in the essence of, the true people of the Hamashiach, because that's what they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, which is not his true name. His real name is Yahweh Shai. They think that they are the followers of Hamashiach, but this truth was only for the elect of Yashala, and not all of Yashala would come back to this truth before the final destruction to Esau, where the dragons are of the wilderness, and that is the dragon, which is Esau. These Amalekites, that make up the beast system, which we know the first beast was the Roman Empire. We're on the second beast, which is the revised Roman Empire, with the Amalekites ruling everything, the greedy 1%. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. So that's why often this place is referred to as the cup of wrath of indignation. This place, Babylon the Great, is the great city, Mystery Babylon, which is the very top of the indignation of the Most High, and then you have the weapons of his indignation, which is thermonuclear war. That's going to lay this whole place desolate. And your eyes shall see, and ye shall say, the Lord will be magnified from the border of Yashala. A son honoreth his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father, where is mine honor? And if I be a master, where is my fear? Saith the Lord of hosts unto you, O priests that despise my name, and ye say, wherein have we despised thy name? Again, this is talking about the two-thirds that don't want to wake up to this truth, don't want to come back to their nationality, would rather worship Esau, the so-called white man, rather stay drunk on his philosophies that God loves everybody and that we're all equal. We're not equal. Nor in the New World Order will you ever be their equal. Pretty much, they will take your shit and will pretty much rule you. You work for them, the greedy 1%, which is Amalek. And now, or wait, if you offer the blind for sacrifice, is it not evil? And if you offer the lame and sick, is it not evil? Offer it now unto thy governor. Will he be pleased with thee, or accept thy person, saith the Lord of hosts? And again, this is talking about those that will come back to Yahshua, that will come back to their nationality and proclaim this truth as we are out here on the streets, you know. And here I am on the streets of Ready on Hilltop. I've stepped up to the game, you know, because it wasn't enough that I watched these videos and forward them. No, it's time that I come out here and teach. I've been in this thing for almost 2 years, you know. And before that, you know, I was already coming into this truth. And it's like this, though, is you just needed the right person to speak the correct words. You know, so I was already exposed to the New World Order, the Illuminati, the elite of Esau, and I just said it, you know. And this was not by mistake. I said that those people that are in Israel now are not the real Jews, that the real Jews are the ones that came here on slave ships. You call them black people, you know, were the real Jews in the essence of the kingdom of Judah. You know, and I said that out loud, boldly, without having done any research whatsoever. Well, that was the Most High speaking through me, because I was seeking Him, the real one. And eventually, when the words were spoken right, I heard them and came into this truth fully. So, you know, I'm out here teaching, you know, I've stepped up the game. Where is there even among you that would shut the doors for naught? Neither do ye kindle fire on mine altar for naught. I have no pleasure in you, saith the Lord of hosts, neither will I accept an offering at your hand. Again, this is talking about those that don't want to come back to their nationality. You know, that all of a sudden when destruction comes, they'd rather call on the name Jesus Christ. You know, and, you know, kind of like what happened with Puerto Rico, which I was talking about that just the other day, you know, and I was talking about how all these islands, which are the northern and southern kingdom, mostly the northern kingdom, are being demolished because they don't want to come back to their nationality. And you got people like us out there that are teaching in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, but yet they don't want to come back to their nationality. They'd still rather worship Esau, so-called white man. But ye have profaned it in that ye say the table of the Lord is polluted, and the fruit thereof, even his meat, is contemptible. Again, you know, Esau has perverted this truth, but they'd rather follow his perversions rather than coming back ultimately coming back to Yahshua, you know, and coming back to the fact that, you know, this truth isn't for everybody, you know. And again, only 1/3 of our people are going to get this, you know. But you just needed the person to speak the right words correctly. You already knew this, but you just needed somebody to bring it out. And that's what we're doing here, and that's why we're on the streets. Because there are still those that just needed to hear the right words, that have already been watching, you know. Ye said, behold, what weirdness is it? And ye have snuffed at it, saith the Lord of hosts, and ye brought that which was torn, and the lame, and the sick. Thus you brought an offering. Shall I accept this of your hands, saith Yahweh? But cursed be the deceiver, which hath in his flock a male, and voweth and sacrificed unto Yahweh a corrupt thing, for I am a great king, saith the Lord of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen. And which we know that name is Yahweh Shai. You know, they put their counterfeit up, but now we know that that's a counterfeit. And we know that Christianity is failed, you know, because of course it's failed, because you know, they can't change this truth. And we're out here proclaiming the real truth, and it's just a matter of time till our people wake up to who they are. And it's happening, because these dry bones are about to live again. And we're about to go into the kingdom of Yahshua, when the chariots come that they call UFOs. And this place is laid desolate, you know. And so, you know, they have their New World Order, which Neagan represents the New World Order, you know, and you know, that's one of the more recent shows. They've been projecting the New World Order for some time. Even if you go back to that Stallone movie in the 80s, Cobra, you know, the very end of it, you know, when the guy has a big knife, he's talked about the New World Order, you know, and that you're going to die, pig, you know, pretty much that only the greedy would survive, which is the greedy 1% that you know as the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and Goldman Sachs, all these bankers, which are the Amalekites, the very top of Esau, of Edom. And so, again, you know, to try to take it all down, this prophecy, because now you have confusion of faces out there that are also speaking against Esau, the so-called white man. And the only way they can combat this truth now, because they can't just throw the label Black Hebrew Israelites anymore, now they have to say Israelites, you know. They still want to try to keep that name Black Hebrew Israelites, but you can see that many of us come out and teach. And not to mention, Yasha'Allah is made up of the main nationalities, blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, so it ain't just a black thing and it ain't just a white thing. It has nothing to do with colors. And here's another funny thing, though, is Edomites don't like to be called Edomites. They want to be called everything else but Edomites. And it's like, that's not even a racial slur. We're calling them by their nationality. You know, it's actually, you know, we're not calling them by slurs like they do to us. You know, they call us everything but Israelites. They don't call us Hebrew Israelites. They call us everything else, like niggers and spicks and reds, Indians, you know, black, you know, and, you know, they pretty much don't want us to know what our nationality is. And that's Satan's greatest trick right there. And that's why Christianity was there as a diversion, you know, to say that Israel's dead and that, you know, the Gentiles are all the rest of the wicked nations, and that Israel's pretty much done away with, and that now everyone can come into this truth. And then you have the Amalekites pretending to be the very Jews, you know, which is total wickedness. The Zionists, you know, that proclaim to be Jews, which are Edomites. The Amalekites, which are the worst part of Esau, the so-called white man. So, you know, again, you know, they don't want this truth to come out, so, but we're going to keep on proclaiming on the street. They cannot stop Bible prophecy. Something biblical is going on. And we are the biblical Israelites. We've come back to our nationality as to who we are. And we know that those imposters are going to get theirs. They are the synagogue of Satan. And they will be destroyed. Because Satan, who has the appearance of a man, that so-called white man, which, you know, in the show Walking Dead is Neagan, which is really Esau, the so-called white man. And we know that he's about to be destroyed, so he's coming with great wrath. You know, just take all your shit, everything you work for him. They even projected that in WrestleMania last year when Triple H had his match. You know, they were projecting that, you know, you work for us. You know, of course, Esau shows you this in almost everything. You know, the mediocrities, his witchcraft has always been the television. And he gives you his clues through his media. Because we know he controls the media. We are in 1984. The George Orwell book, that's what we're living in. This is totalitarian 1984. Newspeak is what they use. And they've been using Newspeak for a long time to control the masses. You know, to tell a lie, you know. Because we know that the Vietnam War was based upon lies, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, just as Desert Storm, you know, was based upon lies, you know, that pretty much they told Saddam Hussein to invade Kuwait. And so he did, and then that was a reason to go after him. They set that whole thing up. The invasion of Kuwait was a false flag. In the essence that Saddam was set up just like Hitler was set up. You know, that's what they do. And that's the greedy 1%, the Amalekites. You know, those proclaiming to be Jews are the ones that set up Saddam Hussein. Just like they're setting up Bashar al-Assad now. You know, they're setting him up because they plan to destroy him. And it'll most likely be the Zionist entity, the Israeli state, that launches that final destruction to Damascus. Because we know, though, that pretty much when we see Damascus fall completely, that they are going to make their moves on Iran. And then that's when this whole thing triggers off. But they're the ones that are controlling this event. You know, but they want to get everything on them chips. And so we know that that's being pushed out. It's being marketed. And, you know, your celebrities, your, you know, sports and all that are going to promote this big time. Rappers are going to come out and promote it, you know. We already are seeing that unfold, you know, that you should be chipped. And that's the ultimate branding, just like they do to cattle, you know. So, you know, again, you know, Lord willing, we'll be out here again doing another lesson very shortly here, you know, because this truth has got to be proclaimed in all the streets. And that's why we do this, you know. Again, you know, only 1/3 of our people can come back, so it's time now for us to wake up as to who we are, come back to our nationality, because we're the first fruits. The other 2/3 that ain't going to make it on this round, they'll be reborn through us. But we first fruits have to come back to who we are. So I hope this has been edifying. Shalom.